Hey guys, here we go. We are set. We are set. Training camps are officially underway. Everybody is getting to the facility. Everybody is reporting. We got some that are not going to report until they make more money. We got others that aren't reporting because of verbiage in the contract that they don't want to sign. We got a bunch of stuff, but it's training camp. And you know what that means? Football season is right around the corner. So here we go. We're going to start out. We got 3 weeks, a little bit more than 3 weeks, but 3 weeks for the training camp previews. We're not doing one snapshot a day like I did with the free agency and off season. That'll be, we will do the snapshots again. You guys loved them, so we'll do them again come the late winter, early spring as we finish out one league year and get ready for the next. But this is the training camp preview. So here we go. Let's get into our first one. All right, guys, here we go. So we're going to open this up starting in the AFC East. And we're going to open up with the Patriots. You guys know I am really high on the New England Patriots. New head coach, Mike Vrabel, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. New staff, new focus, new energy. And to help everything, you have the 30th strength of schedule, which means it is the third easiest there is. Looking at their schedule, they open up with Las Vegas at home, which is also a new coach, obviously, with Pete Carroll. And I'm going to lean home team, a little bit less work to do. The quarterbacks, obviously, you guys know I trust Drake May, especially with Josh McDaniels. And I can't wait to see what Geno Smith will be with Chip Kelly. And we'll get to the Raiders when we do some of the AFC West. But the reality is, their hardest stretch, and we did this after everything came out, their hardest stretch is going to be Week 12 at Cincinnati, Week 15 versus Buffalo, and then Week 16 at Baltimore. Those are going to be probably the hardest games. Obviously, you have the other at Buffalo game, but every other game they could easily win. They've got the Saints. They've got the Titans. They've got the Browns. They got the Panthers. Like, this is really a schedule that a new head coach for the team can take advantage of. This is huge. And then they still have $60 million in cap space. Now, this is exactly how each preview is going to follow. These are the things that are going to be on the thumbnail, and then we're going to talk about some of the other things. The weakest position for the New England Patriots still, I believe, is wide receiver. Stephon Diggs decided I'm not sure what he's going to be in camp. Mike Vrabel's not going to play around. He managed A.J. Brown really well. Mike Vrabel will not play around with attitude from Diggs. They need Diggs to be a number one receiver, maybe not necessarily as fast, as twitchy as he used to be, but they need him to be a guy that Drake May can rely on. But when you look at the lineup, it's all potential, not actual production. So you got Diggs, you got Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins, Kendrick Bourne, Boutte, Kyle Williams, the draft pick from this year out of Washington State, Jalen Polk. The reality is, Douglas struggles with drops. Diggs is getting older. Hollins, you guys know I love I love the addition of Hollins, but he's not a huge, he doesn't move the needle. He's a professional. He's fun. He's great for the, locker room. Boutte has had plenty of opportunities, and so has Bourne. It is definitely under average of a wide receiver room. But the running back room, they definitely got better because they drafted Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, if he doesn't fumble the ball when he gets an opportunity to run, and then Antonio Gibson. I think it's a really, really solid 3 running back core, but they're deepest at secondary. Carlton Davis, Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, Christian Gonzalez, and Marcus Jones. That's your starters. Then they got in the backup Jalen Hawkins, Marcus Epps, Marcellus Dial Jr. They've got some depth in the secondary, which is big because you have guys like Davis and Duggar who get injured a lot. But I do think their secondary, being a 3-4 base once again, the way that they drafted this year, and you could, if you wanted to make an argument that their offensive or their defensive line, because of the fact that they're 34 and they really don't have a big player besides Milton Williams on that defensive line, that's actually their weakest position. I did consider that, but I think in this defense, Milton Williams is going to end up being exactly what they need. Tonga can handle the middle. It's all about the linebackers, and they've got some really smart, really, really, really good linebackers. Because this is going to become a old-fashioned Patriot defense where the defensive ends are the ones that are going to make plays. And it's going to be, the outside linebackers are the ones that are going to make plays. So I don't want to, rough up on the defensive line too much because we've seen these types of teams before. The Ravens had, nobody's except their nose tackle kind of be known forever. You didn't know the defensive end. You knew Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and Nadales Thomas. Thomas and Suggs were linebackers. So it's the same concept here. I don't want to kind of bash on the defensive line. They're going to do what they do. They're big guys. They're designed to get the linebackers through the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a really attacking defense. I can't wait to watch this. I'm super excited for week number 1, Patriots versus Raiders. And I cannot wait to see how this plays out. The New England Patriots, if you're looking for something that could end up going awry, honestly, to me, is definitely the receiver position. If Diggs gets injured, if Hollins gets injured, which right now he kind of is, if Douglas can't hold on to the ball, I would say the wide receiver position is going to be the position that could keep them from being able to get a win. That could easily be the case. Their offensive line is improved enough with signing of Morgan Moses, Garrett Bradbury, and obviously drafting Will Campbell. That was absolutely huge in my opinion. The line is good enough. You can be middle of the road, and you're going to be just fine. They'll be able to run the ball enough. Play action will be there. They got some great speed. The screen game, I think, will be very, very big for the New England Patriots. So, all in all, between the strength of schedule, what they've got going on, I believe this team is going to be really hard to beat, especially starting in Week 9. They can give the Bills fits when the Bills come to town in Week 12. They could give the Baltimore Ravens fits defensively. Offensively, they may not be able to compete at the highest level as far as upper echelon groups, but division games, don't count them out. And in big games, if their defense makes a couple plays, they could easily be in games. I am really excited to see what the New England Patriots do. Now, when you look across the way, you've got the number one team in the division. And listen, I haven't done my official picks yet, and I'm not going to spoiler alert anybody or anything. But the reality is, I love the Bills team. So when you look at the strength of schedule, it's number 23. They're favored as of right now in every single game they play this year. Pre-training camp, Vegas has their odds of winning like 13 and a half games is pretty dang good, actually. The over, you don't make a lot of money on the over. So they've got a really, really helpful and convenient path to the number one seed in the AFC. What's going to hold them back? Cap space. They are already $1 million over. They're already $1 million over. So they're going to have to make some moves. They're going to have to cut some different places. And it's really a bad thing because their weakest position to me is corner. And here's why. You guys know I didn't like the Maxwell Hairston pick. He's already gotten in trouble. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. They signed Tre'Davious White back into the fold, which I knew was going to happen. But you've got Christian Benford and Taron Johnson. Those are the two corners you for sure have. Hairston you're not sure of. White's been injured. And then you have a guy, Dane Jackson, who had been playing with Carolina. As far as safety, Taylor Rapp, really, really good. Damar Hamlin, the story outdid the actual numbers on the field last year. You would absolutely go after Damar Hamlin. And you still have a backup secondary where you're kind of questioning one or two injuries in that secondary, and like what happened last year, your depth does not match the ability of the rest of the team. Defensive line absolutely got stronger. Deion Walker from Kentucky, TJ Sanders from South Carolina. They signed Joey Bosa, which to me is definitely an upgrade over Von Miller. Von Miller's contract is a big issue with the cap space still. Like, it was a horrible contract they gave Von Miller. They gave Joey Bosa a one-year deal. I'll take the Joey Bosa deal. They're trying to get pressure late in the season and in the playoffs. I know what the focus is. I have no issue with the focus. It's just you're setting yourself up to fail with constantly butting against the cap. And Josh Allen is not going to be the problem. I mean, he's averaging $55 million a year. It's less than Dak Prescott. It's just barely, actually, I think it's just below Tua Tagovailoa. Like, Josh Allen is not getting the best deal that he signed. He absolutely gave you a huge discount. He shows he wants to be in Buffalo. He shows he knows he has to take that number for the team to remain competitive, which means you have to make the right decisions everywhere else. Josh Palmer signed a 3-year, $36 million deal. I have been on this all offseason. It's one of the dumbest deals I think there is. He can prove me wrong this year. I hope he does. But you've got Khalil Shakir, who is clearly the slot. Keon Coleman, the second-year receiver. They signed Elijah Moore from the Browns. They signed Josh Palmer, who gets let go by the Chargers, by Jim Harbaugh, because he couldn't do what they needed him to do, which is what the Bills need him to do. Catch the ball. Just catch the ball. Curtis Samuel, Laviska Shenault has another team. KJ Hamler will probably be the returner. I'm really excited about that. I think that's a really good one. Could easily steal 5-10 yards. Could easily steal 5-10 yards on kickoffs, punt returns. So I think KJ Hamler is a very is a dark horse when it comes to this. And their offensive line is still really, really good. And they got some depth, so they can handle an injury or two, not three. But Deion Dawkins, to me, is the big one. If Deion Dawkins goes down, that is Josh Allen's safety net, his safety blanket, his safety cone, everything. Deion Dawkins is his safety. If Deion Dawkins gets injured, I think that is the only thing that can really stop them. Yeah, what can stop this team from winning? The secondary getting injured, they can't match up. And if Deion Dawkins goes down, because they got some depth for the interior, but nobody's going to replace a left tackle like Deion Dawkins. That is absolutely the case. Now, you may be asking, well, hold it. Between corner and receiver, I'd say receiver could be weaker. It could, but Shakir has a great rapport with Allen. I think Coleman in year 2 is going to take a jump. I don't like the rest of how they built everything out more because of how the contracts are than necessarily the players, but you're absolutely correct. I would agree with you that wide receiver could easily have been there as well. But in my estimation, based off of what happened, especially with the Ravens, especially against the Chiefs, corner is the position. They got picked on. Their backup corners got picked on to a level that I was calling it out in the AFC Championship game going, the very minute that their corner went down, their starting corner went down, I said they're going to attack that second corner because he's garbage. I believe it was Elam, because he's absolute garbage. And they did. They basically took advantage. He was off the ball all the time, and it was ugly. It was ugly. And you can't have that. I think without a top-end receiving group, the Bills can still play really hard because they got a good line. James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, a really good running back room. He can dump off. You got good tight ends. I think you can handle not being great at receiver, especially with Shakir. Curtis Samuel came on, as well. Because Shakir and Samuel play a lot of the same style. So if one gets hurt, the other one steps into the slot role. So I don't think that hurts him as much as what we saw last year happen. Corner, they fell apart. They fell apart with the injuries in the secondary. And to me, that's the issue. To me, that is 1,000% the issue. And heading into this year, you guys know I love the Bills. I think the head coach has got a lot to prove. Heading into this year, Sean McDermott is the exact opposite of Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has got free reign, $60 million cap space, can make moves, can suggest we go get this, suggest we go get that, say, hey, we need to upgrade here or we need to upgrade here. Sean McDermott can't do any of that. He's strapped by what currently the team has. They really have got to figure out how to draft well because right now they're struggling. I don't like, you guys know I hate the Hairston pick. I much rather have seen Siobhan Revel, 6'2" corner, to be able to go against some of these guys. But they went with the fastest corner. That's to be able to match up against Xavier Worthy and Zay Flowers. We know why they drafted him. Because they're going to have him run. They're going to have him run with the fastest guys that they're going to be playing in the playoffs. So I understand it. But he's smaller. And I mean really small. And not as strong. So it's just speed. So you're still going to need your safeties over the top to make sure everything works. So I believe corner's the weakest. Receiver, you could convince me, is right behind. But I really think this defensive line this year, being able to rotate in, if Walker and Sanders stay healthy, especially on short third downs, I think their third down run defense will be stout. These guys are big. They can bring Bosa out. They can put Sanders in. They've got big guys on that defensive line, and I think it will be very, very helpful for this team. I loved how they drafted. It was a smart draft outside of that first pick. I loved the draft. But Sean McDermott's got a lot to prove because he keeps getting out-coached. You can't keep getting out-coached. You have to go into games prepared. especially on your side of the ball. Be ready to go. Your side of the ball has to dominate this year. It has to dominate. So I did this, brought back out the folder. This is from the training camp, or sorry, the snapshots. And I was going back over some of the numbers from last year because, well, we had a lot of things going on. So if you remember, going back through, here we go. In 2024, the Bills allowed 22 points per game and were 17th in total defense and 24th against passing. That's got to improve. Number 23 strength of schedule, you cannot have the 17th best defense in the NFL. You need to be minimum top 15, but I'm saying top 12. You need a 5-position jump, and it's on your side of the ball, Coach McDermott. You've got the players. The run game, I'd say they could easily be top 10 in stopping the run. Now, go back, and we'll close this out here real fast. So we go back to the Patriots, looking back at the numbers. Remember, the bar is pretty low. They were, very simply, 31st in total offense, 32nd in passing, and 13th in run, 30th in points per game. The bar is pretty low, but defensively, where I think Vrabel is going to change how they play, the 34, his style 34, not Gerard Mayo's, I think fits a lot differently. They were 22nd in total defense, but they were 10th against the pass. Their strongest position is secondary. If that can improve to 7th, and they can improve their run defense from 22nd to top 20, I think it absolutely helps. I think it gives them the ability to win. I think it gives them the ability to easily make the playoffs. And I do not have my official predictions out yet, but I will spoil this one. Yeah, Patriots are in the playoffs in my opinion. They don't play enough playoff teams to get thwarted off of it. I think they could win 10 games this year, and yeah, the bet is already in. I've got that bet. Patriots winning 10 games and making the playoffs. Money's already behind what I'm saying. So I cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that. All right, this is going to be how the previews are. I wanted them to be much shorter as far as per team because we followed everything all off season. Just previewing what's there, what you got, and can you make any moves. The Patriots can make a lot of moves. The Bills can make none. So that is going to be it. Training camp preview, AFC East, Bills and Patriots. I love the Patriots, and the Bills should be able to win a lot. So these could easily be two teams heading into that Week 12 matchup. Patriots may only be 2 or 3 games behind Buffalo for the division lead. The Patriots could easily hang around. Their early schedule is easier, and they could hang around. They could hang around and be a thorn in Buffalo's side and not let them relax. So I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see how this season plays out. Training camp preview number 1. I am absolutely pumped. Football is right around the corner, July 21st. Everybody's reporting to training camp, and we are, a week and a half away from the Hall of Fame game? Heck yes. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Football's back, and we're going to talk about football basically from here on out. I will sprinkle in probably an episode a week as of right now on other different things, especially with the baseball trade deadline coming up, and we still have to have our wrap-up of the NBA season. But we get to all that, maybe one of them this week, and then probably another one next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Absolutely fantastic. Have a great rest of your Monday night. Have a great Tuesday, and make it the best day that you can. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I am out. Football's back, baby.